This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, starting at verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Verse 37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. Verse 38, thou shalt carry much seed out into the field, and shalt gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory. Call halal Allah Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rachagadas. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone who taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to the Akim around the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth, faith and sincerity, risking their lives and the freedom to do so. Shalom to the Akwat and the Akim out there listening and learning. Lord willing, it's an edifying video. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of the other nations, looking like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you I say shalom. To all the sincere Akim risking their lives. Push this word in the year of prophecy. To you I say shalom. This is the brother Yawasop out of the GMS Cleveland Church, a fellow servant coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Yahushua. And I'm going to continue in the book, the Willie Lynch letter and making of a slave. And I thought it only right to begin with Deuteronomy 28. You know, that's a scripture that breaks down, you know, if you have spiritual eyes, it's, you know, but that's how you know it's really a spiritual thing. You know what I mean? It tells you that, you know, they were going to grope in noonday as if in darkness, like they can't see it, you know. But if you have spiritual eyes and your eyes open, if your eye be full of light, you'll see it. You know what I mean? It confounds a lot of people, but it's not confounding to those that are awake, that the Most High has touched, you know, open eyes. So, starting back at the Willie Lynch letter, page 12, it says, cardinal principles for making a Negro. For fear that our future generations may not understand the principles of breaking both horses and men, we lay down the art. For if we are to sustain our basic economy, we must break both of the beasts together, the nigger and the horse. And that's one of those bywords, you know, nigger. You know, although when you go into the scriptures, like Elder Malcolm always likes to bring out, when you go into Niger, you know, basically they were saying like nigger, but it was in a different context, you know. And you know, this devil was all about turning things upside down. You know, Isaiah 5 and I believe 29 speaks on that. Or is it 29 or 5? It says, we understand that short-range planning and economics results in periodic and economic chaos, so that to avoid turmoil in the economy, it requires us to have breadth and depth and long-range comprehensive planning, articulating both skill and sharp perception. We lay down the following principles for long-range comprehensive economic planning. 1. Both horse and niggers are no good to the economy in the wild or natural state. Yet and still, though, to show you how full of shit they is, I was just listening to Elder Barak and the brothers in Ancient Days, and they was going into, like, you go actually research pretty much everything that's made this country great. All the inventions came from Jake. That's why you came up with the patent office, because they was stealing Jake's ideas. You know, I think they said they came up with the air conditioning. You know, Jake came up with the stoplight. You know what I mean? Like, but it tells you in scripture that we'll get no account for our labors, though. Bear with me for a second. There's crime. It's in the Apocrypha. This is the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, starting at verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and which we're doing today. You know, we're trying to be righteous men, following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High in a world that's ungodly, that doesn't believe in the Most High. When you're looked upon as weird, just trying to, you know, follow the scriptures. That's how you know this is not a righteous place. And made no account of his labors. And I was just going into, like I said, Jake has got no, he has got no respect for the many inventions and the things that Jake came up with. Yet still, you heard this Edomite talking about how, you know, we're not good for the economy. We made this motherfucking economy. You know, like I said, you go into the NBA. Have you ever seen when they first originally came out with basketball? That shit was corny. It took Jake to actually make it the fucking $1 billion business it is today. If it's not trillion, for real. You know how many billionaires own basketball teams? It says when they see it, they shall be troubled. Well, that's going into something else. That's going into our salvation. You know, but going back to the lesson, the book, it says verse 2, both must be broken and tied together for orderly production. Verse 3, for orderly futures, special and particular attention must be paid to the female and the youngest offspring. 4, both must be crossbred to produce a variety and division of labor. 5, both must be taught to respond to a peculiar new language. 6, psychological and physical instructions of contaminant must be created for both. We hold the above 6 cardinals as truths to be self-evident based upon the following discourse concerning the economics of breaking and tying the horse and nigger together, all inclusive of the 6 principles laid down below, or Salaki, laid down above. It has a note, neither principles alone will suffice for good economics. All principles must be employed for the orderly good of the nation. Accordingly, both a wild horse and a wild or natural nigger is dangerous even if captured, for they will have the tendency to seek their customary freedom, and in doing so might kill you in your sleep. And that just shows you how they still think of you this day as an animal. You know, but yet still you got Jake that's joined upon them thinking, because at the end of the day, you know, Jake is like confused. Jake's seeking love from his oppressor. You know, through the spirit, I was around a whole bunch of Edomites yesterday, and I really just did how they used to do us back in the day, and got to tell them about themselves. And they ain't do nothing crazy through the spirit. They just like they had me leave. You know what I mean? But I let them know, like, and what really pissed me off is because at the end of the day, like, it tells you in scripture they're not in trouble like other men. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have any cares. I mean, all this shit going on in the world, these motherfuckers just to parlay and kicking it. Like the brother was just sitting up there speaking on, he said, shit, we don't come from families and households where, you know, we can go buy brand new cars. We got to buy used cars and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's deep. It says, you cannot rest. They sleep while you are awake and are awake while you are asleep. They are dangerous near the family house and it requires too much labor to watch them away from the house. Above all, you cannot get them to work in this natural state. Hence, the horse and the nigger must be broken. That is break them from one form of mental life to another. And they have broken you now. You know, like I said, you got Americans so bamboozled. You got people, I mean, do you realize how much shit is going on in the world? Not only the coronavirus, you got the Black Plague. You got, when you go into the coronavirus, you actually, anybody got any sense, the coronavirus is all it is SARS. All the SARS is a respiratory fucking disease. And basically it's like a cold. You know, Lysol talks about, coronavirus ain't nothing new. But my point in bringing all this up is you got people so lost in La La Land. You still got people talking about fucking Kobe Bryant when all this shit is going on the earth. Do you realize that they talking about do you realize how the Most High just set this off? China has the biggest economy right now. A lot of the goods that we use in America, because America makes nothing anymore. Everything is imported. The biggest budget is spent on the military. So basically, this This is a pandemic. When you go into the word pan, that's like Pangea. It's the whole world. You know what I mean? Like, people so fucking stuck in their own little la-la land, they don't realize this is going to trickle down and affect everybody. Do you not know that the Americas actually already have orders to start like fucking like detaining people? You know, China actually is a ghost town. Do you know that the president over there is underground? This is way more serious than, and call Allah Yahweh Shah, you know, for doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I never participated in a New Year's Eve a destruction video. This one year we did it. The next day, it's been shit every day. And rightly so. Salakia. I'm going to stop there.